Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is a place where we learn every day. Today is yet a new day that the Lord has made for us, and we should be rejoicing and be glad in it. Thank you so much for coming back. If you're new here, please like, watch, share, and hit that subscribe button so that next time we get to upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. So today is yet another day that I want us to discuss, or rather, some people have been asking me to discuss maybe like which agency is better if you're a nurse in Kenya and you're planning to go to the United States of America, or you're planning to immigrate like we've all been talking about. So someone has been telling me, oh ZP, could you please talk about several agencies that we have in the country, like in Kenya, not even necessarily in Kenya, or maybe like the agencies that we have. And I thought, why not? So we are just like the way they used to tell us, these are supermarkets, they used to tell us all under one roof. So we are all under one roof. When you ask, you're given. So this time, we won't talk about NCLEX because we've already discussed about NCLEX. Let's talk about agencies that are available. If maybe you decide, like from the word go from the initial from the initial videos, like the beginning of this channel, we were talking about like those days when we were talking about if you want to immigrate, you want to come out of Kenya, you're a nurse and you feel like Kenya is not working out for you, or Africa is not working out for you. There are ways that you can travel out of the country. And then we realized that you can either use an agency, or you can either use you can be independent. So most of us, I've realized that most of us are using agency, or they are preferring agencies because of one reasons or the other, because people feel like the advantages of being with an agency, or when you're planning to travel out of the country to go and look for a greener pasture, you normally don't go looking for a greener pasture because you're at a better place where you're right now. So assuming you want to come out of Kenya, you want to go to the United States of America, it's because you're trying to like maybe upgrade your life, you upgrade your standard and stuff. So that means you don't have that money that you're looking for. You're going to look for that money. Like, you understand? So if somebody tells you like a whole process is going to cost you around 5,000 USD, it means that that's about 500,000 Kenyan shillings. That means if I am a diploma nurse, it means like it's a whole school fees for me to upgrade from a diploma nurse to a degree nurse. So you realize that people feel like, you know, when you're paying school fees, you don't pay like all of it at once. You don't pay like 500,000 Kenyan shillings at once. You pay in bits. So when then again you start telling me that I need to pay 500,000 for me to process my papers, for me to immigrate, and then I feel like, that's quite a burden. So let's talk about the agencies that we have in the country, all that are there in the country, all that are there, and they're trying to process papers for international nurses for them to travel to, and maybe which one is better, which one do you find like it's better. Now, personally, I've been with MedPro. That is what I started with. And so far so good. I wouldn't complain. I think it's an in thing. Agency it's the in agency right now, because so many people are with MedPro right now. And for me personally, I would like to say that MedPro has been so supportive in terms of supporting me to like revise for my NCLEX, all the NCLEX materials I used from MedPro, because they bought for me UWorld, they sent reading materials, they give you lecture classes, like they support you throughout. Then they'll also facilitate for your payment, like they do most of your fees, they pay for most of your fees. For example, there is NCLEX fee that you need to pay. There is also looking for, of course we don't have a testing center in the country like in Kenya, so they will pay for your flight. You as the candidate now, they will pay for your flight from the place, from your home country to maybe, for example, if you're going to South Africa, like me personally, I went to South Africa, they paid for my flight, they paid for my accommodation, they show for you, like they facilitate your transport to and from the airport. And then they'll also, in case you fail NCLEX for the first time, they'll facilitate for you the second time. And then they also, after that, when you come back, they facilitate for your IELTS. And in case again, if you fail the first time, they'll also pay you for the second time. Unless now maybe you fail for the third time, then they will not, they normally tell you to pay for yourself, and then when you're done, you come back, like you continue with the program with them. But then if you fail for the third time, of course, they won't take you up. They let you go by yourself, like they leave you, and then like maybe you do for yourself. I'm talking about MedPro personally because that's what I know about MedPro. Guys, we said I'll be talking about what I know, not what I've been told by somebody who is telling me I'm with OGP and this is what I will talk about, what I know. And then maybe like out of the research that I'll have done and then all that, you know, like I realize it's a good thing, then I bring the information to you. So after you're done with NCLEX, they've paid for you everything, all the fee bills and stuff. They will help you they'll get you lawyers, a group of lawyers who will help you in visa screening, like during the CGFNS verification documents or whatever it is, during the attaining the visa screen certificate. They'll also assist you in filing your I-140. They'll petition your I-140 to make it premium, like it does come like after like 15 working days. And then after you get your I-140, they'll also facilitate your DS-260. And then you pay your visa bills, NVC visa bills. That is, they pay for you as the, what do we call it? The principal member. And then they pay for you as the principal member, but your dependents, you pay, like if you have 4 dependents, it's you to pay for the dependents, but now the agency will pay for you yourself, okay? And then from there, they'll work with you throughout until the time that you're now case complete, like you're documentarily complete, as you wait for it's called a queue for the exit embassy interview, the consular. Now, as you're waiting for the dates, like for the interview, the last stage for you, so that at least you get your visa, like to travel and stuff. And then after that, they will pay for you as the principal. They'll pay for you your green card fee at the embassy, and then they'll also facilitate for your transport from now your home country, to, let's for example, now the day you're traveling back to go to the US, they'll also facilitate for you that, you see. So for me, I would say, given another chance, I would still come back to MedPro. I would still like poach for many people to go with me because I've seen the advantages. There are some other agencies, of course, different agencies with different policies. What will work for me with MedPro may not work out well for you with MedPro. Somebody else will say, oh, I tried MedPro and then it was not the best, blah, 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 and stuff. So it is dependent on also so many factors and how you view things, like your point of angle of viewing things. So which other agencies do we have? We have the likes, we've talked about MedPro, we have Avant, we have O'Grady Payton, we have Interstaff, we have WWHS, that is the Worldwide Health Staffing. We have Westways, we have Adevia, we have Global Nursing Recruiters. We have also another one, I don't know whether it's Jeff Kennedy or it's Kennedy Recruiters themselves. It's also there, you can Google it up. We have another one calling itself ADEC Medical Staffing, Visa Solution Healthcare, there are so many. And then also another factor that you're supposed to consider when you're starting your journey, before you even choose like whether you want to go the agency way or whether you want to do the self-sponsored, you also need to understand that when you're doing an agency, it means you're not directly employed by the hospital in the United States. It's not a direct hire. There's a difference between a direct hire and indirect hire. When you're with an agency, it is an indirect hire because the agency acts as a middleman between you and the hospital that's employing you. So the agency itself is your employer. Of course, it has its own policies that you have to abide by. Like maybe they'll tell you, we will facilitate for you everything from the time you've registered with our program until the day you land in the US. Then from there, we'll bond you for 3 years, a contract. We'll have signed a contract with you for 3 years. And then the amount of money that I'll be paying you, most of the agencies starts between $27 to $33 per hour. That is if it's an indirect hire. Understand? Then you have to complete the contract that you had signed with them. Failure to do so, like if you breach the contract, you need to pay them back. I don't know whether all agencies have that option of like you buy off the contract. Not sure. I will not tell you about that. But there are some agencies that have that provision. If you feel like 3 years or 2 years are quite enough, are quite like it's a long time for you to like being bound by the agency or something, you can also opt to be like you pay them a certain amount of money, the amount of money that you've used from the day you started the program up to the day that you landed in the US. So you can decide to buy it off, maybe like you become independent. The advantage of having an agency, however much it's an indirect hire and however much the pay is slightly lower other than the direct hire, is maybe when you're back home, you don't have that money that you need to facilitate yourself to start the process. So they will cater for you most of the things like NCLEX exam fees, the DS260, the NVC, you know, like they will work with you. Unlike if I was to do by myself, like if I want to do like by myself, like, you know, it would be so difficult for me to even understand how do I go through this process, you know, how do I even get the CGFNS verification, where do I even, you know, it becomes so tedious and hectic for you. So that's why you find that so many people are preferring to do the agency way, however much it pays a little bit lower than the direct hire. So now what is direct hire? Direct hire is whereby maybe like you've done NCLEX by yourself, because we said you can also do, you can facilitate exam, like the NCLEX exam by yourself. You do like self-sponsored, like it's you've sponsored yourself, you've not been sponsored by any agency. Then at some point you feel like you want to join an agency because of various reasons. Maybe it was so hectic for you, so you realize I'll get an agency that will give me a direct hire from me to the hospital. Like there's no middleman between me and the hospital in the US, in the United States. So you find, one, the pay is higher because there's no middleman between you and the agency. That means the agency is just there to facilitate, you getting a job and stuff, and that's it. The payment is coming direct from the hospital. That's a direct hire. Second thing, the pay is high. It's slightly high. It's not like the one that we've talked about, the agency. And then another thing, you realize that the contract period is a bit less. And then you have a leeway of maybe getting out of the hospital. If you feel like you're not comfortable with the terms and conditions of that hospital after you've landed there, maybe you can negotiate with the resource management, the human resource management and stuff, like the hospital management, and you buy yourself out. It becomes easier for you, other than this is a person who is employed by the agency through the hospital. Like the agency is acting up as a middleman between you, the nurse, and the hospital. You understand? Then another thing, you realize that when you do a direct hire, you have that leeway. It's kind of sort of a leeway that you can also maybe like work in other places, and like, okay, well, I'm not 100% sure about this, and like when you're with an agency, there's a way you're kinda like enclosed in one hospital, because they want you to finish up, like to complete up the hours, like you need to complete the hours that you signed on the contract with them. So you like kinda, you don't have that privilege of working out in a different hospital. Like the way we said in Kenya, you have like, you can work maybe even 3 hospitals if your body allows, if you have that energy. So in this case, when you're with direct hire, I think according to the research that I've done, the little research that I've done, you have that leeway of working in other hospitals. You can go like work from hospital A to another hospital B or whatever it is, if you feel like you're comfortable. And like these are the one. So the advantages of being with an agency or being a direct hire, they're not that much of a difference. The only thing, you find that the contract between you and the agency, and between that somebody who is employed, like directly employed by the hospital, maybe the contract is a bit short for this one who is like on a direct hire. And then you find that the amount of money that you paid, maybe like you signed a contract of $33 per hour, and like this other one who is being paid $40 per hour. And you see, that is the only, like, you know, a difference of $7 per hour is quite a lot. An RN getting $40 per hour, and maybe in Texas, and an RN getting $33 per hour, it's making a big difference. Okay, Then the other one is the hours. The hours, I think they are more or less the same, because you have to work. I understand, like most of the agencies and most of the hospitals, even if you're directly employed, you'll have to attend 40 hours in a week. So I think it's more or less the same, yeah. Then bailing out, like I've talked, you have to pay back. If, for example, you want to move from MedPro and you go to join Avant, you have to pay back MedPro what amount of money they've used with you since the time you joined the program up to the time you feel like you want to bail out from the agency. For you to join, like to go and join in the other agency, you have to pay the amount of money that they have used on you. So I mean, there's so much that you need to consider before you, like. And then also, guys, don't just go and sign contracts without even reading the contract. And maybe, like, if, for example, you've been told by ZP, now this is the best agency so far, you need to ask around and also get to understand, why is it the best agency so far? Why is it not the other agency? It's better than this one. You understand? You also need to do your own research before you start saying, like, this is what I want, right? The other one I've talked about is facilitation, about NCLEX. They'll give you materials, they'll pay for your fees, they'll pay for your IELTS, they'll facilitate your filing of I-1. They'll guide you through I-140, DS-260, green card, and all that filing. Then they have those group of lawyers who are assisting you, the immigration team, like the health team. Like every department you're well taken care of in all faculties. And like if it's you who is doing it yourself, it becomes so difficult for you to understand, how do I open up an account with NVC? Like, how do I open up an account with, it becomes a bit tedious for you. And then, of course, the last but not least, we've said that they will pay for your principal. They will pay for the principal member. The principal member, like the principal member will be paid for the transport fee, that is a flight fee from your home country. And there are some other agencies whereby you sign a contract in such a way that when you get to the United States, after 1 year of completing the program, of completing the contract with them, they pay for you a flight back home for a holiday or something. Like maybe, I think with MedPro, that's something I signed. So if I land in America like today, I have a year from the day I land there. I have like about a year for me to go back home, and they'll facilitate that, okay? So it's upon you guys to decide which agency is good as of now. And of course, one other thing that people need to understand, do not be deceived, or do not be lied to by somebody when they tell you that, me, I prefer Ogradi because Ogradi is fast, or I prefer MedPro because MedPro is fast. They facilitate everything, and then your things move fast. Guys, that's a lie. They will facilitate for you everything, but at some point they will get to a point whereby it will stagnate, because it's all dependent with the embassy. So if the embassy has not issued out dates, it has no connections with the agency or something. For example, me, when I was starting my process, there are some people we were with and finished ahead of me because of documentation papers. I had issues with my documentations at some point. And then, so I had to stagnate a little bit. So those people who had their papers right and in order, they finished NCLEX before me. Their I-140 was filed before me, the DS-260, the green card and everything. But when it gets to that, like that point of you're documentarily complete, because you're waiting for the same embassy, that is now the Nairobi consular, you will have to wait, all of you. You'll go back and queue somewhere. At some point, you'll go back and queue somewhere. You understand? So don't tell me the agency, this one agency is better. You will be you'd be in a race at some point, because you're trying to compete with somebody who is in OGP, because somebody has told you MedPro is faster, OGP is, yes, it's faster. You'll do the NCLEX, you'll do the IELTS, you'll file all your papers and everything, CGFNS verification, visa screening and everything. You will move so fast, my dear. But at some point, you'll get to a point of stagnation. So when you're choosing your agency, don't choose an agency based on what people are telling you, that this is faster, this is slower, this is okay. Well, there are some that are a bit slower, but don't base like one factor as a major factor for you to select or to choose that agency. There are so many other factors to consider. And for me and you who is back home in the country, like here, Kenya, I think the best option for me would be like an agency that will facilitate like almost everything. However much when we land there, Somebody else will tell you when we land there, I'll be paid more than you because you're in a different agency. Somebody else will tell you when we land there, my contract will end before. But I mean, I can have some a leeway of getting out by like paying back the agency and stuff. Because even when I get there, I'll have known things that maybe I didn't know when I was back home. You understand? So when you're choosing which agency to use, choose your agency wisely. Let you not use just one like, what do we say? Let you not just use one factor to like sum it up everything, you know. And I think that's the end, because I really wanted us to talk about that, because people have been asking me, you know, which one is better between O'Grady, between Sheer Waters, between, you know, like it's all dependent on the policies that you've signed with that agency. If you feel that they suit you, well and good, but don't base on one, like, you know, what is it, like I've said, just don't base it on one what do we call it, just one factor, and then you're like, this is the best agency so far, or because people have told you like this is fast, and then you're like, yeah, this is the best one. So guys, until next time, bye bye, see you. Don't forget to hit that like button, share and subscribe, so that next time we upload a new video, you will be the first one to be notified. See you.